Fala, the niece of a billionaire, raised in comfort, but always curious about the world beyond the gates. After graduating, I worked in marketing and later as a personal assistant. But I felt stuck. My creativity had no space to grow. I planned to study in the US with the full support of my grandparents, Alan and Vivian. We prepared everything, even a 20 million baht bank statement. But sometimes life has other plans. My visa was denied. I was shocked, but not defeated. I chose Melbourne, a city I'd never imagined myself in. I enrolled in the Master of International Business at RMIT. I started from scratch, working at a bar called Dodi. It wasn't easy, but it taught me humility and real-world grit. From bar to fine dining, I worked my way into Steer Dining Room, Melbourne's top steakhouse. Here, service was art, and every detail mattered. Here at RMIT, I discovered what I really enjoy: strategy, innovation, branding, and telling my story. It wasn't always smooth. Group assignments tested my patience, but they also shaped my resilience. Now I see, my journey isn't just about success. Every shift, every class, every challenge led me here. It's about building a purpose-driven brand that's authentically me. I'm Fala, not just a girl born into comfort, not just a student. I'm a brand that was built, not born, with values, resilience, ambition, and grit. And that was a little glimpse into my story. But now, let's go deeper.
Let me take you into the heart of who I am, not just as a student, but as a human navigating her path. I began my journey working in roles like marketing staff, secretary, bartender, and most recently, as a front-of-house staff at a fine dining steakhouse. Each job taught me something different: how to handle pressure, serve people with empathy, and communicate across cultures. At my core, I value creativity, connection, freedom, and family. These aren't just words, they guide how I make decisions and how I connect with others, both professionally and personally. But my path hasn't been without challenges. I faced fear of failure, uncertainty about my direction, and a constant pressure to prove that I can stand on my own even though I come from a privileged background. What changed everything was moving to Australia and starting my master's degree. That decision opened my world and gave me space to grow. Most importantly, the mentorship from my grandfather Alan helped me see clarity in chaos. And through all of this, I felt curious, insecure, and hopeful. These emotions don't hold me back, they push me forward. They're part of how my personal brand began to take shape. Now, let's go a bit deeper into my internal world. This empathy map shows what I've been saying out loud, what's running through my mind, and what I feel deep inside. I often say things like, I want to be independent, or I don't want to just rely on my family's name. On the outside, I sound confident, but inside, there's a lot more going on. In my mind, I constantly wonder, am I good enough? What if I fail? These silent questions reflect both my ambition and my anxiety. Emotionally, I feel a mix of curiosity, insecurity, and hope, which align perfectly with what's shown in my empathy map. Curiosity pushes me to explore new things. Insecurity sometimes slows me down, but hope, it keeps me moving forward even when the path isn't clear. And what do I actually do? I show up. I study hard. I work part-time at a fine dining steakhouse. I also spend time exploring creative projects and building my communication skills in every way I can. And what am I afraid of? It's not just failure in school or work. It's the fear of not becoming the person I know I could be. This map helps me reflect with honesty, reminding me that every strong brand starts with deep self-awareness.
I guess picnics had enough of this slideshow. So, why don't I just let you into my thoughts instead? Let me walk you through something personal. My journey through the 5A framework: aware, appeal, ask, act, and advocate. First, aware. It started with vlogs. At first, the US. Then, Melbourne, Thai students shared their first days. It made the dream feel real. Next, appeal. Back then, I felt stuck, like life was on pause. Office work in Thailand felt empty and repetitive. The economy was uncertain, and even the air felt hard to breathe. I longed for more freedom, more space to grow, a life that felt truly alive. Then came ask. To be honest, I didn't ask for much advice. I made quiet decisions on my own. I found an agency, looked up things like housing, transport, and everyday life in Melbourne. It was all silent planning, but it was mine. Now act. This one hurt. Years of US planning, gone with one rejection. I cried, but I didn't give up. I shifted. Melbourne felt calm, creative, right? I wasn't scared, just determined. Finally, advocate, I'm not ready to share it all. Not yet. But one day when the story is strong, I'll tell it. For someone who needs to believe again.
Personal branding isn't just about skills. It's about how we build them under pressure. For this young woman, working in fine dining shaped her ability to adapt and connect. But she's also faced self-doubt, especially with language and self-promotion. Still, she's in the right place. Melbourne gives her space to grow, and RMIT offers the tools to do it. The biggest challenges: fear, competition, and visa limits. But she knows awareness is the first step to rising above them.
So how do you turn reflection into action? For me, this Tao's matrix is the starting point. I'm using what I'm good at, communication, creativity, to build my portfolio and connect with the right people. My weaknesses? I treat them like seeds. I plant them in workshops, let them grow into confidence. Even in tough fields, what I've learned from hospitality helps me stand out. And when fear or visa issues show up, I don't face them alone. I reach out, I ask. Strategy isn't about knowing everything. It's about knowing where to begin. And for me, it begins right here.
Sometimes the biggest threat isn't the tiger in the jungle. It's the fear inside your own mind. That's why I've set a SMART goal. Within the next 3 months, I'll build a simple personal portfolio and complete 3 mock interviews with friends or mentors. Not to show off, but to build confidence. Because in the wild world of personal branding, survival isn't about being loud. It's about being ready.
So, while she sleeps, let me walk you through her plan. She's not just dreaming, she's doing. Weeks 1 to 7. She'll focus on building her portfolio, quietly crafting something that reflects who she is. Weeks 7 to 10. That's when she'll step out of her comfort zone, completing mock interviews to build confidence and clarity. And by weeks 10 to 13, she'll refine everything, then submit her final portfolio by the 15th of September. It may seem like a small goal, but for her, it's a bold, brave step. Because personal branding isn't always loud. Sometimes it begins in silence, while the world is sleeping.
I'm not just a student. I'm a brand in progress, shaped by resilience, values, and vision.